Hello, everyone, and welcome to another candidate interview here for LPTexas. Tonight, we have an awesome candidate who you normally see at this part of the show. So I'm excited to bring him up. And we have a guest co host tonight. So I'm going to bring them up right now. If this works. Cool. Nathan, welcome to the show.
Thanks. It's a pleasure being here on this side of the camera for once.
Right. And tonight we have Deputy Communications Director from LPTexas, Mr. Kenneth Fagans. Thanks for joining us.
Howdy, thanks for having me on.
All right. And for those following along and watching, make sure that you are, clicking that like button and then the share button and all of those other things. But also, if you have questions for Nathan, you can drop them in the chat and we will read them once we run out of the questions that Kenneth and I wrote. And maybe we can find something to trip him up. Nathan's pretty good, but maybe there's a few issues he doesn't know about. So let's find out. As we can just start off real nice and easy with our first question.
Sure.
All right. You moved from Collin County to Lamar County and immediately became involved locally. What drew you there, and what convinced you that county commissioner was the right office?
Sure. So what immediately, what drew me here is I was tired of the suburbs. I was tired of this big city life. And we just wanted something with some more land. We wanted to get away, get out into the country. And that's what we did is, we looked for some land. We've finally found something over here in Lamar County outside the city limits. So we didn't have to worry about any city ordinances, regulations, anything else like that. Ended up buying 5 acres and building a house. So that's why we're out here. And, getting involved locally immediately is, Kenneth can tell you or let other people know is I was pretty involved locally before I moved out here over in Collin County. I got involved back in 2020, just kind of hit the ground running into local politics, into the local parties. And when I got out here, I noticed that, we didn't have a Libertarian Party out here. There is a Republican Party. There is a Democratic Party. And I felt that we just needed to have that libertarian representation out here. So immediately got started with that and started reaching out.
Nice. I'm kind of curious, since this is normally a candidate question, but I'm going to ask you a follow-up anyway. What was that like, trying to get a Libertarian Party off the ground in the county, and how has that progressed to where you guys are now?
Sure. So getting the party off the ground actually wasn't too difficult. There's some paperwork you have to file. You have to interview with the state party. They have to then approve you as a new county to come online. So that aspect wasn't hard. Building a website, getting the social media up and running, that's stuff that I do on the daily basis anyways. So that was pretty straightforward and easy to get going. And then reaching out to people locally was just, dropping into some of those local, Facebook groups, showing up to the local gun shows, showing up to the other local events where I know liberty-minded people will be, and introducing ourselves to say, look, we're a new party. You guys have probably never heard of us before. Here's what we're all about. And, started meeting people that way.
Nice. And more the second half of that question, why county commissioner?
So I'm a huge proponent of, politics should be, run from the ground up. So run for the lowest possible office that you can run for, because that's going to have the largest impact on your daily life. Who's currently in Congress? They pass laws every now and then. They affect the national budget. What they're doing really isn't making an impact on your day-to-day life. I've run for city council before, but since I'm no longer living in a city, I really can't run for city council. So county commissioner was really the next step up from that, local municipality to where I could have a direct impact on residents every single day.
I like the politics from the ground up message of it. For the second question, Kenneth, I'll throw this one over to you.
All right. Can you explain for our audience a little bit what the county commissioner does?
Sure. So county commissioner does a lot of things and it doesn't do a lot of things. What I can tell you that it doesn't do is it doesn't control your electric rate. It doesn't control your water rate. It doesn't affect zoning. So you don't have any zoning regulations in the county. So it also can't ban private individuals from building on their property. What the county commissioner does is, first and foremost, each county commissioner is in charge of their precinct. There's 4 precincts in each county. And their primary role is managing the roads. So they are the ones who get to decide which roads need to have repaired, how much it's going to cost, the contracts for that. They also have what you can call the power of the purse. While they can't directly tell another department within the county that, hey, we want you to do X or we want you to stop doing Y, what they can say is, I'm not going to approve funding for this item that you wanted to include on your budget. So they have a lot of power there where they can control that. They also set the tax rate at the county level. And that's something that I see a lot of people kind of get confused with. They see, oh, my tax rate's going down. Well, yes, in the past 10 years, the tax rate has gone down in the county, but the taxable value has drastically increased. So we're pulling in almost 80% additional taxes just from existing property, even though the tax rate went down. So that's because of our county appraisal district where the appraisals go up. And so there's this game where the county commissioners, it also happens at the municipal level, at the ISD level as well, where they are setting a tax rate based on what the assumed taxable value is going to be for the next fiscal year. And even, like I said, even though they try and lower the taxes or they claim the taxes are going down, they're really not. So setting the tax rate, they are managing the roads. They're not physically going out there and managing the roads. I guess they could. I wouldn't have any problems going out there, grabbing some asphalt, filling in some potholes. I've had a number of complaints where I've got these potholes in this county road that haven't been repaired in several years. Okay, well, that's $100 or a couple $100. I'll go up to Home Depot and I'll fix that for you. So they're the ones who, when someone says my roads are in bad condition, that the residents will call up and say, hey, come fix my road. And then they're also managing contracts. So any third-party contracts that the county signs on to, for whatever reason, the county commissioners are the ones who have to approve those contracts and then eventually sign them.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's very interesting that you mentioned, the way that the property taxes work, because a majority of Texans are extremely concerned with their property taxes.
Mhm.
But they have a tendency to kind of just point the finger at the school districts or then point the finger at, their cities, not realizing that there's this whole process that happens before any of this is even discussed, right?
Yep.
So,
Yeah. All right. On to question number 3. So, while we're talking about the roads, how would you better roads, bridges, and other infrastructure in Lamar County without increasing the tax burden on local residents?
Sure. So without increasing the tax burden, well, for starters, we have to find where we're spending excess money incorrectly and fix that first. So we have to fix the spending problem before we can really fix the tax problem. They kind of go hand in hand. Transparency and accountability plan that I want to implement if I'm elected, to where I can go and create a portal for residents in my precinct where they can go and submit, I've got these bad roads, I've got these potholes, the road's wearing away here, and come up with an actual system where that can be rated that says, this is severely impacting, this really needs to get taken care of, let's take care of that. Or this is a minor, oh, that's cosmetic, we'll get to it maybe. I'll give you some paint if you really want to fix it, if you don't like the way it looks. But using an unbiased system where you shouldn't have to have me on speed dial to get me to go and fix a road or to get a priority label. It should be a system that doesn't bring feelings into it. I know some people are going to be very upset that, oh, well, we went to dinner last week and you're not fixing my road. Okay, well, other people may have a priority. Just because I know you doesn't mean I'm going to take care of you first. So that's a big one in my view that needs to take place. Also, making sure we have proper contracts, proper bidding for some of these road repairs. I've spoken to several residents, several contractors that they're in the business of, they do road work and the county won't partner with them. The county won't submit bids to them. So that needs to be taking place. We need to be bidding out to as many people as we can that meet the requirements, ensure that we have proper warranties, guarantees on the work that's done, so that reduces our overall, repair timeline down the, in the next few years. And, just be fiscally sound about it.
It's interesting that you mentioned that whole ticketing system. I guess, I'm a little bit spoiled being down here in Collin County because we have a ticketing system. Matter of fact, I just went to go check it out right now to see if they've made any changes to it. They really haven't. But I can go online and submit that right now and just walk away. I don't have to worry about trying to hunt you down and get you on a phone.
Yeah. Our county just redid the website. Its county website sometime last year. I don't remember exactly when it was done. Several important links no longer work. They just generate you go and click on the, I want to see what the tax rate is, or I want to see what the approved tax rate is. It says 404 not found. So that, to me, as again somebody who is in that field, is not good, and especially if it's a public facing government website. That kind of stuff needs to get fixed. I don't want to spend money bringing in a third party outsource individual to build a new portal or build some sort of tool so we can actually get submissions done properly. I know I can do it. I'm just going to do it at no additional charge to residents. I do a lot of this stuff in my free time anyways, and if elected, then I'd be more than happy to spend some of my time developing and publishing something where they can just go and do that.
Yeah, knowing you, I think
it
would be harder to get you to not do it than.
Yeah, I'm going to want all the access.
Right. And it's kind of funny because in the world I work, especially e-commerce, we actually do sometimes purposely hide things underneath menus and stuff like that, but we don't just bury them underneath like a random error so that way you can never submit something. So, but yeah, I definitely see you definitely getting in and fixing all of that. That's definitely your personality.
Mm-hmm.
Making sure it all works.
And those are just basic logs too. I mean, any sysadmin, any web admin, those are things that they just look for, 400s, 500s, and those are things that you immediately send out and get fixed, or you remove the links.
Yep.
Now you're talking like government actually works, though, Kenny. All right, question 4, Mr. Fagans.
All right. So, what specific county expenditure, contract, or practice have you examined and concluded should change?
um, so, so talking about the roads, looking at the line item budgets on our on the budgets that have come out, you can see how much is spent on gravel. You can see how much is spent on asphalt. Um, that doesn't tell me a lot of where that money is going. So first off, I would want to examine and get a full audit on all of that. As far as what I have observed, there's a couple of them. Again, being in IT, being around computers and servers all the time. We recently had, or on this year's budget, they had refreshes for every computer, every laptop in the county. I think that turned out to be 40 desktops and maybe half a dozen laptops or a dozen laptops. And the budget for that was $3,000 per device times 40.
Jeez. I was about to say that's not too bad if you were talking a total number, but per device, Jesus.
And all of this was to become, from what I can guess, compliant for Windows 11. When I asked the auditor, I reached out to the county judge to say, hey, why were these specific devices picked? They budgeted $3,000 per device. They ended up spending either $1,300 or $1,600 per device, which is still enough today to build a mid-tier gaming machine. It's not a budget you need for an office computer, for checking your email, for working on Word, heck, even Adobe. You don't need something that expensive to get by at the government level. So I reached out and asked a series of questions. Why was this specific machine picked? Can you tell me why these specs were picked? Nobody had an answer. Nobody had asked any questions about why do we need this? Why do we need these specific devices? Why do we need to spend this much per device? Are there other options? It was basically rubber stamped through on an approved budget for refreshes across the county. And knowing that that's happening in one department, IT, I could safely assume that's happening across the board. I could assume that is happening across several departments where the commissioners aren't asking those tough questions. Why do you need to spend this much money? What are your other options? They see a department that says, here's what we need to spend. They say, okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and prove it. So fixing that, actually asking the questions, even if I don't understand, everything that goes into maintaining or building a road, I can go find somebody that does and start asking those tough questions. I don't know everything that goes into maintaining county records, but I can go find somebody that does and ask those tough questions and ask, why are these expenses, being made or being requested? So that's definitely one there. That's for county expenditures. Contracts. Any county contract that includes surveillance of any kind is a big fat no from me. We have several existing contracts on that, and that's kind of a really sore spot for me right now. And it's kind of I've been very anti-surveillance. I mean, as a libertarian, I'm anti-surveillance to begin with, but even more so seeing when the county is spending money on this. So that's a big fix there, is to say we're not going to approve any budget for it. Remove it from the line items. You want to go and work with the private company on your own time, go for it. But the county cannot fund any form of surveillance or anything else like that. So those are some things I'd like to change.
Solid answers.
Definitely you're anti-flock candidate right here.
So I am definitely one of, if not the anti-flock candidate, anti-surveillance. One of the county commissioners who is currently running for re-election, I'm running against, approved their contracts. So I don't flip-flop on that
That's
stuff.
crazy. That's crazy. Do you have any idea how many cameras and so forth that have already deployed, or is that still in works?
So there's the initial contract, I believe, had 14 or so cameras at the county level. If I go and look up how many cameras are in the entire, last I checked, I think we hit over 50.
Wow.
That is a lot.
Which I know is not a lot compared to like Collin County or Dallas County or one of those big metroplexes. But it's definitely the largest number of cameras in Northeast Texas. If I go and check a heat map to see where all the cameras are, Lamar County has a lot of cameras compared to Hopkins County or Red River or is one of these other counties to the east of us. They have maybe 2 or 3 in the entire county.
Wow. Yeah, it's funny because we've been watching this for quite some time as it's been slowly rolling, and then all of a sudden it's like they come out, they test 10, 15 cameras and so forth. Next thing you know, you blink and then there's 50, 100, 200 cameras, and you're just like, where in the world did these come from? And it's because they slow roll it, people get kind of used to it, desensitized, and next thing you know, it's mass deployment.
It's almost every street corner where I'm at right now. It's insane.
Yeah.
I like that you brought up the specific example of the computers, because that's definitely like an insane number that everybody can understand. Like $3,000 for a computer is better than anything I've ever touched.
Well, again, there's have to be very specific and accurate. It was budgeted $3,000 per computer. So there's the budget is going to be what they are authorized to spend up to. What they ended up actually spending was, like I said, $1,300 to $1,600 for a computer, which again is still a lot for an office computer when you're not doing CAD work, when you're not doing graphic design, when you're not doing anything engineering related. If you are an admin assistant, if you're a county commissioner, you don't need a $1,300 computer. And the county commissioners have a desktop and a laptop.
I mean, I'm running this stream off of $100 mini PC, and I do coding, graphic design, and video editing on this thing.
Right?
Right.
All right,
David, you need to go get a job at the county.
Get a free laptop.
Get an upgrade in your equipment for sure.
There you go. All right, next question. How would you increase transparency and communication from the county government to its residents?
So I had already talked about my transparency and a plan. The portal idea that I would like to implement, not only would it be for roads, reporting roads and seeing where that money is being spent, keeping track of the project, where anybody can go out there and see, here's all of the projects, all the road projects that we currently have, reported. Here's the severity for each of them. Here's the cost. Here's the timelines and all of that. But do it with everything else in the county as well on the same one-stop shop portal. Yes, is that going to be more work on probably my side to go and implement that? Yes, for sure. That will definitely be and require more time. The initial go live that I would love to do and roll out is roads, like I said, because that's what I get 2 things when I talk to people: fix the roads, or fix the damn roads is usually the first statement I get. And the second is fix my taxes. So I know those are the 2 priorities that most people have in the county is roads and taxes. But I shouldn't have to submit a FOIA request to the county to get all of this information about what computers were purchased, why were they purchased, what was budgeted, the vendor name and all that stuff. All of that needs to be readily accessible where any resident inside the county, outside the county, wherever, can go to a portal and say, I want to look at, what's currently been budgeted, what has currently been purchased, because each department has to file reports that say, here's what we spent money on this month, or here's what we spent money on this quarter, or this 6 months, or whatever it is. Take that information that's already being submitted and put it into a portal where someone doesn't have to go and request to see that information and even know, like if I'm submitting a FOIA request, you have to be very specific in what you're asking, because the government is going to give you exactly what you ask for. And that's if they give it to you at all. They're not going to go out of their way and say, oh, you asked for A, but because you asked for A, you probably also want B and C. You didn't ask for those, so I'm not going to give you those or even tell you that those exist. So it needs to be, like I said, it needs to be accessible. It needs to be easy for residents to go and navigate to see where their money is going, what's planned, so that they can actually show up and let the county commissioners and the rest of the commissioners court know that I'm not okay with this.
It's interesting to think that you have to go through and do FOIA requests for some of that stuff, because even still, FOIA requests can be daunting, because they can always come back and go, oh, well, sorry, we're going to have to go through and charge you an extra $4,000 to go through and get that, because, well, we have to go and access a mainframe and we need specialists, which, yes, a city in my area actually came back with here just recently. It's like, no, you don't have mainframes. There's no cost. These are just simple records to go ahead and pull. So, yeah, I mean, definitely just needs to be something out there and transparent for the voters. So
if you're not doing anything wrong, you don't have anything to hide, right? Like that's what they keep telling us.
Isn't that the favorite motto of the surveillance state?
That is the number one response I get when I talk about how I don't like the surveillance state and I want to get rid of it is, well, if you didn't do anything wrong, then you shouldn't be worried about it. You're right. If you didn't do anything wrong, you should not be worried about your TV having a camera that the government can access anytime they want to.
Or anybody else.
Because guess what? If it's online and the government can access it, it can be hacked. If it's not controlled and owned by the government, that means a third party is in charge of it, and they can share that data with whoever they want.
And
the moment hacked. You say flip that camera around on the government, it's oh no.
We should not have surveillance on residents. We should have surveillance on the government. So every resident should be able to log into a customer portal or resident portal, and they can go and look at every office in the county commissioner's court and the courthouse in City Hall and see exactly what everybody's doing anytime they want to and keep track of all of that information.
I like it. Well, rolls nicely into our next question, can it?
All right. How would you maintain people's privacy and Fourth Amendment rights while ensuring local law enforcement have the tools that they need to do their jobs?
Sure. So, I mean, that goes right back to the surveillance state. The Fourth Amendment guarantees no unreasonable search and seizure. An active profiling of every resident, every citizen who lives in Lamar County, who passes through Lamar County, all of that information is being stored. It's all being shared between other counties. I know the feds want access to all of that. So, one, end all contracts immediately with any company that, any third-party company, that does any form of surveillance that infringes on privacy. Second is not fund any intra-government options that are doing it. So if the sheriff's department wants to go and buy their own flock cameras and go set them up themselves and maintain all of it themselves, not funding that. I'm sorry. I value my privacy. I value that every resident, every citizen in the county, anybody who lives here, anybody who passes through here, has that right to privacy. The government cannot infringe on that. So again, that goes back to managing contracts, managing the budget. Those are the power of the purse. Those are the two biggest factors that I would have to ensure that that is being done properly. Make sure that, and to ensure that law enforcement have the tools they need to do their jobs, they need to be submitting, just like every other department, what, an accurate, here's what we want, for funding, and here's how much we want for funding, and here's exactly what it's going to be for. No, we just want X amount of dollars for a general fund and we'll figure out where we want to spend it on. That's not going to fly. You need to tell me what's going to be budgeted. If you need a specific tool, that's fine. You have to explain why it's actually needed and prove that it is needed and it does not violate somebody's right. And if I feel that it is a rights violation, I will vote against funding it.
What if they need a Bearcat with a grenade launcher on top?
I would love to see that PowerPoint presentation when they try and justify that.
And it's funny that you bring that up, because a lot of departments got a lot of those underneath the DoD program. And then once they got them, they realized that they couldn't even drive them over a lot of the county and city bridges because they were too heavy.
Mhm.
And then they realized that their officers had to undergo special egress training and so forth. Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Oh.
All right. Switching topics over now to another one of a favorite libertarian talking points.
Yes.
Just this week, you were added to the Texas gun rights ballot.
Thingy.
Yeah, I was supposed to finish writing that. Didn't go back to do that. Wonderful. So they put out their ballot review telling all of the candidates that have a 100% record on the Second Amendment. You were the only person in your county on that list. How did you get that, and what is your stance on gun rights, good sir?
So I got that by filling out a candidate survey that had a whole bunch of questions on what laws I felt were infringement on the Second Amendment, what powers the government should have to restrict gun ownership and registration and stuff like that. And apparently I did well enough on it where they said, yes, this guy is pro Second Amendment. If you like guns, this is the guy for you. Now, that being said, there is very limited power that a county commissioner can do that impacts gun rights. State law supersedes anything that we could potentially do at the county commissioner's level. City municipalities, they can enact their own restrictions on certain areas, but again, the state law is going to have that rule on there, and then the Second Amendment itself. So my stance on that is all gun laws are an infringement on the Second Amendment. Hard stop. Don't care. I don't care. I can feel for somebody. There are tragic situations. I understand that, but our nation was created because the regular citizens had a way to defend themselves from a tyrannical oppressor. I'm not saying everybody go out tomorrow and go and take over and overthrow the government. But if we look at other countries around the world right now, we look in other states around the country right now where gun rights have been heavily restricted, we can see what's happening there. We can see where people are being threatened, people are being abused, and they have no way to defend themselves. People are being killed because they have no way to defend themselves. Anybody who thinks that a criminal, a bad guy, somebody who intends to do harm, gives two licks what the current law says that they can or can't own a firearm or where they can take it is silly. They don't care. They're already out there to commit a crime. They're already out there to hurt somebody. They do not care what the law says. The law, any gun restrictions only impact law-abiding citizens, the right to defend themselves, to protect themselves, to protect their families. Now, what the county commissioners can do is, again, power of the purse. Any regulations that the sheriff's department or some other office says, we want to implement registration of some sort, or we want to implement this. Okay, well, I'm not going to fund that. I'm not going to let you go and do that. So that's really where we can make an impact. It's like I said, it's not a lot, but again, the power of that purse, being able to control the budget is probably one of the strongest things that a county commissioner can do within the county.
Yeah, it's great. I actually saw somebody like fully unironically post the other day, and this is somebody I know in real life. Said something to the effect of, people who are anti-gun control don't make any sense. They're always asking, like, what happens when somebody pulls a gun on you? And you're like, what gun? If you can't legally carry a gun. Like, full unironic, this is their actual opinion. And I was like, man, I forgot that people that silly still exist. Like, it's a straw man argument I forgot some people still make.
Just wear a t-shirt that says gun free zone, 15 yards circling around you.
That's great. And to your other point, as far as what's going on in other places, I just interviewed Topher Grace a couple weeks ago, who is or Topher Field, sorry, who was one of the main activists doing the protesting in Australia during COVID. And like, that is a completely different world than where we're at when it comes to stuff like that. We have boog boys showing up with ARs strapped across their chest to our protests. They don't have that over there anymore.
No.
So when the cops started shooting at protesters, there really wasn't anything they could do about it.
Nope.
All right, one more question of the ones that we had written. And then we've got a few from the chat too.
Give your case.
Yes. Give voters your case for Nathan Polsky in 30 seconds. Your elevator speech.
Oh, my elevator speech. It depends on who I'm talking to. In 30 seconds. So if you are wanting somebody who's going to guarantee to lower your taxes, or to vote to lower your taxes, I'm your guy. If you want somebody who's going to guarantee that taking care of the roads and an unbiased solution, I'm your guy. I do not want to make this a 20-year career. I do not want to retire on this. I am a principles first, whether or not other people like it. I'm sorry, I may just butt some heads with you, but I'm your guy.
Oh, yeah. All right.
I like it.
From the chat, we'll start with this one because it's super easy. If a larger scale deflock coalition forms across North Texas, would you vouch for Lamar County, or more specifically its Libertarian Party affiliate, to participate?
Of course. That's an easy one.
Right. I was like, that's like a 2-word answer.
Well, and something that's very important that I don't think a lot of people understand. It may have something to do with deflock. It may not have something to do with it. Jury nullification is real. It is a power that every resident has. Like I said, it may not have anything to do with this, but if you are ever summoned to be on the jury, for those of you who don't know what jury nullification is you as a juror can, in a court case where somebody, you obviously know that the individual did violate the law, a law was actually broken, if you feel that law is unjust, if you feel that the punishment does not fit the crime, you can, as a juror, vote not guilty. And you cannot be held accountable. You cannot be held reprimanded or punished for that choice. So yeah, it may have absolutely nothing to do with this. It's just something very important that I think a lot of people don't understand, that they have a legal right to do.
Like,
and the government
ways,
does like it when you know that.
Yeah, and in many ways, it's one of those privileges that we have as citizens that a lot of people just don't As you pointed out, government doesn't like us to know that we have.
Mhm.
There's a reason that they will scrap an entire jury and start from scratch if one person in the room mentions it.
Oh, you show up to a jury selection and you mention jury nullification, your butt's out the door.
I used to have a shirt. I don't know what happened to it. I lost it in like 2 moves ago. But I used to have a shirt that said something about like just simply like jury nullification is my God-given right or something like that. I wore it to jury selection.
I'm guessing you didn't get selected.
No. And I was going on a work trip in a few days, so like I really couldn't get selected. So I was like, I'm just gonna make sure that I'm not. This other question is a little bit more interesting. I'm very curious your perspective on it. Is it easier to ask county officials about specific expenditures in an ex-urban or rural county than urban or suburban?
Asking county officials. So I'm assuming the question means more than just asking a county commissioner. It's also asking any county official. I would say from a time management perspective, county officials in a rural county are probably going to have more available time. Whereas county officials in an urban environment are going to be pretty swamped. There's a lot more for them to manage, to look over, to review. They have much larger budgets. They have much larger departments as well. So I would think it'd be easier, like I said, time management wise, to reach out to rural counties than urban or suburban. That being said, the technology is probably better in an urban or suburban environment where you can go to a portal that may already exist and submit a request for something, or you may be able to fill out some sort of other request or shoot an email and they're on top of it. Whether or not they actually respond is, like I said, a completely different scenario. But as far as the easeability goes, I think it'd be easier in those urban or suburban environments, just to the method to reach out.
Makes sense. This one isn't a question, just a statement, but I'm going to put it up on the screen anyway. The NRA should just endorse libertarians from now on.
I don't want the NRA's endorsement today or ever. The NRA is the largest political action group that has helped write most of the gun laws. So most of the gun laws that are out there were drafted and written by the NRA. So they claim to be a pro Second Amendment organization. I mean, look at how the organization originated. It was a shooting club for select individuals. You had to be allowed into it. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they definitely are not high on my list of favorite gun rights organizations. There's definitely some better options out there.
Yeah, I do not believe you could get anybody within the NRA leadership to publicly state that all gun laws are an infringement of the Second Amendment. I do not think you could get any of them to do that.
I think the only organization you could get them to say that officially is the Firearms Policy Coalition.
And the Texas gun rights one is all gun laws are in violation of the Second Amendment. So that one is one. I know Gun Owners of America, probably also another one that would be in that line.
Typically pretty good. And then we've got a supportive message rooting for y'all from the Great Lakes State, Mr. Bro Dr. Brindley up in Michigan.
Woo.
And if I could fix this, there we go. Okay, I think that was all the comments. Nathan, as always, I'm going to still ask my last question. How can people find out more about your campaign? How can they sign up? donate? What do you need from people? How can people help make sure that you are the next county commissioner?
So you can find out more about my campaign. I've got several different places. You can either go directly to my website. That's www.nathanforliberty.com, and that's FOR. So nathanforliberty.com. I've got my platform is on there. I've got a way for you to sign up if you would like a yard sign on your property. I just went out and put another 8x4 on Friday. I will drive out. I will put it personally there for you. I've got smaller ones coming tomorrow if you're living in the city. If you want to volunteer, if you want to help schedule meet and greets, if you want to, host an event with you and your friends, sign up there. Let me know. You can also go there if you'd like to donate, help spread the message. I've got an easy way to sign up there for donations. You can also find me on Facebook and Twix, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Polsky for Liberty. I'm sorry, Polsky for Lamar. Polsky FOR Lamar. That's my Facebook page. That is also my X handle. I post on both of those semi-regularly. I've got a campaign team that's going to be helping out with getting some more socials out there. So if you follow along, you should see a lot of content there. You'll see when I'm out at different events, I'll be posting on that. I'll also be, if you sign up on my website as well, I will send out a monthly newsletter just to let everybody know what I'm doing, where I'm going to be, what the plans are, and stuff like that.
Nice. All right. Kenneth, any last thoughts before we wrap up?
No, I mean, I've known Nathan now for what, 4 years, 3 years,
A
something
while.
like that. I mean, I'm glad to see you up there. I'm glad to see you running for office, giving the people a choice, and look forward to your success.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, Nathan. Everybody, thank you for watching. Once again, make sure that you're liking the video on all of the things. Even if you watch this on YouTube, go find it on Facebook and X and like it over there too, and share it over there. Throw some comments in it. It helps the algorithm. We want to get these interviews out there to where the voters can actually see the options that they have. And we'll be sharing clips and stuff like this over the next few days as well. But thanks again for watching. Nathan, thanks again for doing this.
I'd say thanks for having me, but I'm here regardless. So
You didn't have a choice.
I didn't have a choice.
All right. And then we got another show on Thursday, right?
Maybe.
I think so. Check us out again, 7 p.m. Central on Thursday. We should have another candidate, and for the next couple of weeks until we run out of candidates to interview. But until then, keep up the fight.